Hey, Bobby Vega here at EMGtv at the Cube. In this segment, what we're going to talk about is the precision bass. We have a couple of precision basses here. Then we also have an Ampeg B15n, and it's a 1961. So these are the amplifiers that were used in many, many recording sessions of the history of R&B, soul, and just music in general. So the precision basses. And this is a 1971 precision bass. But if you notice, it has a jazz bass neck on it, right? And then if you notice, it also has transitional tuning pegs, which are the round pegs which they made in '66 when after Fender sold to CBS. So anyway, this is about the precision bass. This is a 1971 P-bass body with a 1968 jazz bass neck with 1966, I call them Fisher-Price paddle pegs. They're transitional period pegs when CBS used to own it. And I have this set up for the R&B soul kind of, the tones, and staple singers, Aretha Franklin, right, Ohio players. And I actually have a sponge in the back too, to mute the sound, to give it that more bassy, traditional kind of sound, right? So here's an example, say, of the staple singers, I'll Take You There. And so this is set up to play that R&B, that old traditional tone. The precision bass with flats, bass players like Duck Dunn, James Jamerson, Bob Babbitt, right, Chuck Rainey, Carl Radle, all used the precision bass. And this was one of the iconic sounds of history of the bass, which really got me started using and playing and wanting to play the Fender bass. Well, next I want to talk about, every bass has a story, through the different times of, when I was listening to them, looking at them, and buying them. So one day I was fishing, I call it fishing, where, I used to go to the hock shops, music stores, and then I had friends that actually collected stuff. So I called a friend called the Bass Dude. And I said, hey man, what do you got? And he goes, hey, I got a 71 P-bass body. And I said, oh, really? And he goes, yeah. I said, is it stock? He said, yeah. I said, wow. I said, got stock pickup? He said, yeah. I said, got stock pickguard? He said, yeah. Bridge? Yeah. I said, how much you want for it? He said, $350. I said, I'll take it. So I went and got it. That's how I got this body. Well, years before that, I met this bass player named Pete Sears, and he was a bass player with a band called the Jefferson Starship. Before that, he played with Rod Stewart, Gasoline Alley, and all those other songs way back when. Great British rock and roll bass player, one of the last of the Mohicans, really great musician. Went to his house, and when I met him, we went into a room, and I saw this neck there. And I went, wow, what's that? And he goes, oh, we were in Germany with the Starship, and Grace Slick had a few too many, got on stage and told the German audience what she really felt about him, and then left the stage. Well, anyway, they rioted, they burnt the place down, all the gear got lost. And the story about this neck was he came back home because he had lost his '64 jazz bass during the riot, that he bought a 1968 bass from Leo's Music, jazz bass. He took the neck off, got a 1964 neck, stuck it on the body, and he had another 64, right? So what happened was after I bought this body, I went, man, I wonder if Pete still has that neck. So I called Pete. I said, hey, Pete, do you still have that jazz bass neck? He goes, sure, mate. Why? I said, well, I like it. He goes, would you like it? I said, I'd love it. He says, you got it. So I went over there. There's the neck. So that's how I put together this bass. This bass is like my Frankenstein bass, which John Entwistle, one of his favorite P basses was a Frankenstein bass, where they would destroy their instruments. And then one night he took all the busted basses and took all the parts that weren't busted, put it together, and that was his Frankenstein bass. This also is, it's great because years later, before when I first started playing, I used to see Carl Radle and Duck Dunn, and he had a P bass with a jazz bass neck. So this is the exact look that they had back there in 1968, 71. They were doing this. My heroes, Duck Dunn and Carl Radle, had this bass, and this is what they look like, and this is what it is. So I got lucky. All right, here we are with a 1958 Fender Precision Bass. Two-tone sunburst, right? Anodized pickguard, volume, tone, stock bridge, maple fingerboard, maple neck, right? Reverse Kluson cloverleaf tuning pegs. And this pickup is a stock 57 pickup. And back in 1957, the A strings had raised pole pieces. So when you look at this pickup, you'll see that the magnets over the A string, or in between the A string, are raised up, and all the other ones are lowered. And the reason that was is because back then the A string wasn't as loud, so they needed to make it more pronounced, so they raised the magnets. So now when you hear it, it has a little more volume back then to give it a little more punch for the string, and that's how they altered it. That's how they made it so it was more prominent. Raised pole piece on the A string. All right, now I'm going to give you some sound samples. This bass, like 58 P bass, 57, Chuck Rainey, right? You know, Aretha Franklin, Steely Dan, right? All those different things. Here's a kind of ish of that kind of sound, right? The sound of this bass too is it has flat wound labella strings, which was a big part of that R&B soul sound. Duck Dunn, right? That Booker T stuff, right? Every bass has a story, at least mine do. And how I got this one, I told my friend, Banana. I told a lot of people that I was looking for an anodized pickguard precision bass. And I called my friend Banana. Banana's a guy that has worked with the Youngbloods. Lowell Levenger is his name. Anyway, called up Banana. I said, Banana, I'm looking for an anodized pickguard P bass. Banana goes, hey, your bass is at Elderly. I went, what? He goes, look online. So I got online. There was the bass, and I went, wow. And it was late at night. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm going, oh no, I wonder if they still have it, right? So I get up in the morning, call up. I said, hey, you still got that 58 P bass? And they said, yeah. I said, wow. I said, you know, I'd like to get it. How much is it? And they said, $2,500. I said, okay. I said, you know, can I give you a credit card? And they said, yeah. I said, what happens if I don't like it? He goes, you can send it back. I said, wow, okay. Well, the bass came, and man, holy cow, you know, here it is. It was beautiful, you know, beautiful two-tone sunburst. Even had the covers. It was $2,500, and it had round wounds on it. And I, you know, it was, wow, it sounds good. And my old bass, I have a 55 Precision that came with these flat wounds. And what I did is I took those off that bass and I put them on this bass, and man, you know, it's a great sound, and very, very happy. And that's the story about this bass. So you never know how you're going to find a bass when they're going to come to you, but I got very lucky, and here this is, my 58 Precision bass, right? Two-tone sunburst, anodized guard, maple neck. All right, we're here with my B15n flip-top Ampeg amplifier. And the reason why they call it a flip-top is because the top actually, undo the latches, flip it over, and you can cart it away. Get to the gig, flip it back over, bang, it's on. That's why they call it a flip top. Ampeg B15s, these were like the history of bass sound. These were always in recording studios. This was like having a microphone. This was the amplifier for the electric bass that was in all the studios. All kinds of recordings, from James Jamerson to Chuck Rainey to Carl Radle to duck done. So Stax, Motown, Atlantic Sessions, B15, all over the States, all the studios, right? So I got it. This is the way I found it. And actually, when I actually bought the amplifier, Lady Carol Kay, she's a bass player that played on the Beach Boys stuff and a lot of the LA stuff. Part of the Wrecking Crew was there. She was given lessons. And she actually played it through it and said, wow, you play with a pick? I said, yeah, I play with a pick too. You know, she goes, wow. Anyway, B15 flip top. That's the story. That's how I found this amplifier. And I've had it since, what, 1972? I think I got this amplifier. Anyway, there you have it, right? All right, that wraps it up for this episode on the Precision Basses, right? And the Ampeg B15 flip top.